What's going on, people? Welcome to United View. What's popping off? Welcome to the overview show with special guests. Had to bring through the man them. It's a second overview of the season. It's a big week of fixtures. Hold tight, Fuad and Turkish Fuad. Start of you, we say, man.
All good, bro, man. All good.
You got that Tottenham smile. You got that good transfer window smile, innit? That's what you got.
We can get into the window. It was a good opening day. I'll say that. Listen, 4-1.
I know, but you always moan though. You're always never quite happy with something. To be fair, rather other Tottenham fans get gassed.
This summer. That's how I'm starting to feel. I'm starting to feel like I'm the negative Spurs fan all of a sudden. But hey, listen, Mr. Reality is what I'll go by.
All right. Big up Turkish as well. You man are flying. Optimism and all that. All or nothing doing its thing. Arteta looking wicked and that.
Yeah, I don't know about flying, but we started well as well. We started well. Yeah, easy. I'm trying to move in silence like Cam.
You see, as soon as the expectation comes, you see, Spurs, just playing it down. That's the right way to be, though. That's
what was it? If we had Cams, was that yeah?
Move in silence.
Oh my days! You lot are too funny. At least you lot can do that right now. We're not moving in any form of silence at all. We're just loud, breaking down the thing, not doing the right shit. Everyone's laughing. We are anything but silent right now. But that's how it goes, man. But this is the overview show. It's not just about Man United. It's about all of the Premier League teams. Where we take a look at the games coming up. And how we think those games are going to go. So smash a like on the video, peeps. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. And we're kicking off with the Lampard and Gerrard game. Two managers who are under pressure for different reasons. Do you know what I mean? Lampard, jury's always been out on him at the top level. And Gerrard, when you deep it, since he's been at Villa, it's been a bit meh. It's been a bit, we're watching you, Gerrard. You've got to cook something up this season. Villa against Everton. What are you saying, Fuad, for this one?
For me, I think Villa have to lay down a marker. Being at home and then kind of, you look at their squad, there's a lot of names that you would say are kind of talented. I think someone tweeted out Villa have like almost the perfect collection of, if you were playing FIFA, players who are rated like 82 to 85. They've just got a bag of them. And it's just like, well, you lot should actually be higher up the table. But as you say, Gerrard just hasn't been able to make it click, whether it's the right formation, Danny Ings not living up to expectations, Leon Bailey not being fit. They've had a bunch of issues. I feel like Mings, who's their captain, has been one of their worst performers, I would say.
Yeah, he ain't the captain no more.
Dropped. Yeah. So do you know what I mean? So it's like I feel like they're going to go through like a little bit of a teething period this early part of the window. But I feel like Gerrard definitely, in one of these early games, he has to lay down a marker because this can go real south real quick. And I said before, he was in a comfortable position at Rangers where he was competing for the title in Europe, displacing Celtic. You were looking like the new hero of Scotland almost. And he had that kind of rally of the fans behind him. At Aston Villa now, you've taken that big leap of faith where our Villa, you've now spent this kind of money at Villa. They're going to have expectations at some point where you either have to crack into the top six, which we know how difficult that is because you've got West Ham, you've got Wolves, you've got Leicester, who've all tried in the last couple of years and it ain't worked out for them. And now you've got to come and do this as a rookie manager as well. I don't know. I think Gerrard could be potentially in trouble this season, but I look at Villa's squad and I'm like, they should have enough.
Yeah, exactly.
Everton, in my opinion, because I think Everton are one of the worst built teams in the Premier League over the last couple of years, in my opinion. And I think Lampard, he's in a job where, in my opinion, he's going to drown inevitably. It's just kind of how well he can make himself look whilst he's drowning.
Well, a couple of little floating. Then
you know what I mean? Everyone, you know when you think he's gone and he just swims back up for that last
one big result.
I ain't gone yet.
Turkish, what are you saying, man, about this game and how you see the two managers and the two squads?
Listen, they're both in a bit of a mess for very different reasons. I look at the entry point of both managers. Lampard came into Everton when they was in the mud, and I think their fans got over that optimistic period, and he came in when there's not much hope in the fan base, whereas Gerrard came into Villa when they're pretty much riding that optimistic wave still. So the fans are expecting something. I don't think Everton fans are expecting much of Lampard. And then you look at the transfer window as well, and Everton haven't strengthened their side. If anything, it's a weaker side outside looking in. So I think Lampard's job this season is to bare minimum stay in the league. aside from that, I can't really see other targets for Everton. Whereas for Aston Villa and the money they've spent, they need to be breaking the top 8, top 7, potentially top 6, depending on how United and Chelsea, Arsenal, Tottenham do. So I think there's a lot more pressure on Gerrard. And then you look at the opening day fixtures, they both lost, but I think Everton performed better. Obviously, they had Chelsea, whereas Villa had newly promoted Bournemouth and went down 2-0. So I think this one, Villa at home, Gerrard, and recently his time at Villa is being compared to Gary Neville's time at Valencia.
That's what I'm saying. The stats ain't statting, bro.
Yeah, so he's got to turn it around now. And in all honesty, Everton at home is one of those fixtures where Aston Villa's fans, Aston Villa's owners, Aston Villa's boardroom will be looking at 3 points, and keep it moving. So it's a big one for Gerrard. Lampard, he's under pressure too, but very different reasons.
Yeah, I see Everton in terms of, I know you said like their aim is to stay in the league. I think, well, they should be aiming higher for that, because actually when I look at their business, so they've got Tarkowski, they got Cody just come in now as well. So they're trying to fix, do you know what I mean? They're trying to, like, the back four, he's addressing that as a big issue. They got a young right back in there as well.
He returned as well.
Say that again.
Idrissa Gueye, didn't he return as well?
I think he's still tipped to come. They're still trying to look at that as well. They got Onana, they got him from Lille on big P's. You know what I mean? Like, when I look, they got Dwight McNeil as well. And I know I'm not saying he's a world beater, but do you know what I mean? He's spending. They're addressing it. The only thing I think they're massively lacking now is they got to get a striker, because Calvert-Lewin is not responsible, not reliable enough. And you look at Rondon, obviously he ain't it. They need to get a striker. But if Lampard finishes 16th, 15th, and was like, yeah, look, I beat the relegation again, I'm like, nah. I know from where they're coming from, they're not going to get top 8 or nothing like that. But he needs more. He needs to start convincing people that he's for this. Like, do you know what I mean? The jury just seems to always be out on him. And I agree, like, he's still got a lot to prove. It's like, if he has an underwhelming season, like you said, he's just like Phil said, he's going to be swimming. He's just going to be swimming. But yeah, I agree with what you're saying as well. And Gerrard,
I forgot about Cody and Onana coming in.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Right. That raises it, bro. That raises it. That's better than just going just be relegation again, just barely stay in there. Like they're spending, and they're still trying to get more.
If he's still got the receipts laying around for Richarlison, bro,
you don't want it. We'll get there. All right, quickly, let's do predictions. Villa against Everton. I'm gonna go with an Aston Villa home win, 2-1. I'm gonna go. What are you saying, Fuad?
Yeah, I think Villa have to lay down a marker for me. I'll go 2-1 as well, Villa.
Turkish?
1-1.
Okay, yeah, I could see that. I could also see that as well. Let us know what you guys are saying. Arsenal. Let's just get straight into the meaty ones now. We're going to do Arsenal, then we're going to do Chelsea, Tottenham, etc., etc. Arsenal, Turkish, obviously good start against Palace. Looked good, especially that first 20 minutes. I mean, man like Julian was saying, that's the best you played since Invincibles. You know what I mean? So, yeah, he's obviously...
Julian says a lot, man.
But, obviously, look, you lot got a good reason to have a decent outlook going forward. But Leicester, I saw Rob saying earlier, you know what I mean? Don't sleep on them. You know, they're struggling to bring players in, haven't signed a player yet. Kasper Schmeichel's gone, but the first sort of 70 minutes against Brentford, they were strong. Then it just faded and let them back into the game and didn't win. But they looked good and showed why they, you know, on their day, in their moment, they can always cause you problems. But how you seeing this game? Yeah,
I think Robbie's right. You can't not look at Leicester's threats and in a sense not be worried. I look at their midfield in particular, and they have a better three than us. And they have quality elsewhere too. Vardy, he's still quality. I know he's getting on in age a bit, but he's still quality. Harvey Barnes, quality. Defensively, Fofana. I know Pereira's been injured recently. So yeah, they still have quality throughout their side, but Tielemans with a year left. We saw his performances kind of dip last season. Now he's got a year left. He's been linked to Arsenal. It'll be interesting to see how he plays. Maddison
played sick against Brentford as well. It didn't affect him there. The speculation weren't affecting him. He was top against Brentford.
Yeah. Well, essentially, it's another chance to be in the shop window. In my opinion, we need a midfielder. If it's going to be Tielemans, let it be Tielemans. If Paqueta, Savic, I've heard a few names. I'll take any of them. We just need an upgrade. But
so who does he come in for then? What does he come in and just start straight away instead of Partey, or start straight away instead of Xhaka, or it's just a Straight away. So it'll be Partey, Tielemans, Xhaka, you sit.
In my opinion, yeah, but Arteta,
Yeah.
you know, Xhaka's his guy, so I don't know if he'll come straight into the team.
Yeah.
But I think once he does touch the starting 11, I don't think there's no returning for Granit Xhaka, because I think we'll see what we've been missing all of those years. Don't forget, Xhaka's in a new position himself. Xhaka's only been this number 8 option for about 6-7 months now.
Yeah, yeah.
Before that, apparently his best position was deep line playmaker, or he was a defensive mid, or so many different positions. But at the age of 29, he's being moved. If you're that good in a position, you're not going to be moved at the age of 29.
Yeah, that's true.
So people have to understand, Arsenal fans in particular, there's an upgrade to be had in that position. I just feel like we've plugged the gap with an existing member of the squad. And yes, his performance level has improved in that position, and he's less susceptible to the mistakes that cost us goals because he's further afield. But still, when he's in the box, when he's just outside the box, that's now when I look at his deficiencies. Now that's the problem. Not so much him losing the ball just outside our own box and us conceding a goal or a shot on target. That's been eliminated now, moving up the pitch. But when he gets into the box, when he's just outside the box, when you need that threat, Tielemans will bang one. In the box, Tielemans a bit more, you know, aware of his surroundings. He can finish.
Yeah, definitely more of an attacking threat than Xhaka, definitely.
100%. So, yeah, it'd be interesting to see Tielemans, how he plays up against us. Harvey Barnes, not sure if he's fit. Maddison had his best season last year, but you know, against Brentford, they took off Dewsbury Hall, who had a very good game.
Yeah, he's a good player as well, man.
And it all went pear-shaped for them. Brentford came back in it. And Brendan Rodgers, we just talked about Lampard and Gerrard. Brendan Rodgers is probably under more pressure than both of them managers, because he kind of over-exceeded expectations for a couple of years. And then last season, although Leicester finished 8th, and outside looking in, I think 8th, 7th is where you'd expect Leicester to finish, just behind the big 6.
Yeah.
But his 2 seasons before that, being in the top 4 for majority of the season, expectations rose. Now it's, you know, we got to get back in there, in my opinion, for Leicester fans. So he's got a big season ahead, but I just don't see it working out for him. I think we'll get the job done.
Fuad, as a Spurs fan, are you seeing Arsenal as like you lot's main competitors in that top 4, like to try and really push on? Because some people have tipped Spurs to do big things. People have tipped Arsenal to do really well. People are saying Chelsea are done out here and stuff like that. But for me, that can change in a couple of weeks very easily. How are you seeing Arsenal as a Spurs fan?
Genuine top 4 contenders. Let's not forget that last year they were actually in the driving seat for top 4 till they threw it themselves.
Yeah.
For me, I think you look at over the summer as well, they've strengthened in key areas that they actually needed to. With Jesus, they were missing goals, so they brought in a proven goal scorer who's got a track record of winning league titles. Zinchenko can play multiple roles, and I've always said Zinchenko, for me personally, is one of the most underrated and underutilized players, because I think he can play in multiple roles. And if you ever see Zinchenko, he rarely puts down less than a 7 out of 10 minutes.
Yeah, he's a solid performer.
Bad day, it's a 7 out of 10. He's a consistent guy, quality, technically gifted. And Fabio Vieira, who for me, I don't know much about him, but from what little I've seen of him, I'm like, he can definitely bring a little something in wide areas, number 10, number 8, maybe sometimes. So it's a nice option to have. And as Turkish is saying, they need that depth in midfield because they've got European football this year as well. So that for me is one factor that I think I want to see how Arsenal kind of adapt to that throughout the season. But they're definitely genuine top 4 contenders in my eyes. And
do you see them getting the job done against Leicester?
Against Leicester, for me, this is the hardest fixture in their first 5 games, I would say. I think they've got Fulham, Bournemouth. Me personally, yeah. I think Palace away, it was kind of opening day. It's up for grabs. And I think after a strong window, you lot kind of had that little bit of wind under your sails. Whereas this is kind of, I feel like Leicester almost got a hangover summer. And I hope they don't have a hangover from last season, because I know, as you said, Turkish, they finished 8th, but most of the season they were 10th.
Terrible. Yeah.
They were awful. They couldn't get any consistency. They had a lot of big injuries, and they haven't been able to bring players in because they can't get players out. I think they've got the most first team players in the squad, like 27 or 28. So,
but at the same time, they don't want to sell their main assets because money's tight, and it's like Fofana wants out, Maddison, Tielemans, this whole spine.
So what they kind of have to hope for is a lot of these players, because their first 11, I still think is quality, but that they can kind of get back to the levels. Maddison, I thought he finished the season strong last year. Tielemans started well. Vardy, he had some injury issues. Can Daka fill them boots in? Harvey Barnes, he had injuries last year. Pereira, as you said, injuries. Fofana, injuries. So Schmeichel's gone as well now. That'll be a kind of changing of the guard that happens. So Leicester, for me, this is going to be a real season to watch because I feel like this could be the season where they could either drift away and Rodgers is kind of in the mud, or they kind of really need to cement themselves back in. But it's one to watch for sure. But I think Arsenal will take this for sure.
Give me a scoreline.
I go 2-0 Arsenal.
Turkish?
3-1.
3-1. Yeah, I like the sound of that 3-1. I just think Arsenal first home game of the season. They're all buzzing. Jesus running about the place doing a mazza. Martinelli just exactly. He does actually. I can't see anything other than an Arsenal win. I think Leicester can cause problems in moments. Of course they can. They can always do that. But if Arsenal turn up and play how they're meant to turn up and play, I don't see how Leicester can do it. Turkish, just quickly before we move on from Arsenal, comfortable with the top 4 chat? You're going to get in that top 4?
Listen, we're more primed this season to make top 4 than we have been in the last God knows how long. Only problem is Chelsea's business. It all depends on if it clicks because they're bringing in quality. They're bringing in quality, and they're due to bring in a couple more players of quality in the next few weeks. At this moment in time, I'm saying Spurs third, and it's a toss-up between Arsenal and Chelsea. Now, if they add De Jong and they add Oba, then I'd slightly say they're probably favourites for it. But then that's if it clicks. And for me, there's a lot of question marks over Tuchel. You know, his name has been mentioned with Pep and Klopp a lot over the last couple of years. But I think that's embarrassing, if I'm honest with you. So I feel like another manager under pressure. We're going to get into Chelsea shortly anyway.
We are. They're next. Yeah. So, all right, cool. So quietly confident, but also worried about Chelsea because I'm with you. People write off Chelsea too quick for me. You know what Chelsea are like. They can just bring in 3 top man in the next 2 weeks. Listen, like you said, it starts clicking.
At the start of the transfer window, if someone told me Chelsea will get rid of Lukaku and add Raheem Sterling, Frankie de Jong and Koulibaly, I'm sorry, but we'd all be worried. I know it's just messy.
And Cucurella as well.
Yeah.
Get rid of Marcos Alonso and get Cucurella.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? It's just that I think they just need like, it's a bit scattergun from them. I don't know what they're trying to achieve. Like, all right, Cucurella is like, he's a good player, but it's like, if Ben Chilwell was there, cool, do you need it? I don't know. I'm just not sure of the direction they want to go in. But one thing I know about Chelsea is you just can't write them off. Let's get to Chelsea. Oh, no, that's not Chelsea. Where is it? There it is. There it is there. Chelsea versus Tottenham. Fuad's team. You lot trying to cook under Antonio Conte. There was no other option but back the guy. You know what I mean? You had to do it here and now because we all know what happens if you don't back him. And you lot got top 4. Strong end to the season. Optimism. Good window. Or a lot of people think it's a good window. People are gassing up Spurs, saying, you know, they could. Some people tell me they could finish above Liverpool, and it's a winner's mentality. It's the Conte effect and all this stuff. That's fine. How are you seeing it against a Chelsea team that it's their first home game of the season? They weren't great against Everton, and they haven't got the players in yet. We're all saying what they could have by the end of the window, but as it stands against you on the weekend, they ain't going to have any more players. And they're struggling a little bit. How do you see that as a Tottenham fan? But then their record against you is obviously formidable.
Yeah, for me, it's the ultimate litmus test, I think, for kind of what we, as you said, this high wave Spurs fans have been riding all summer. I think we ended the season strong, but let's not forget we played Chelsea. I think it was 3 times in January where they beat us with their A team, their B team.
You didn't score a goal, did you?
Yeah, they mopped us about, and that was with Conte there, with some of our signings there. So it was like no real play side, and of course it was still early days. But I think we're definitely a lot more settled side. We've got some bodies in over the summer. As I've said multiple times, I think so far it's been a window of quantity rather than quality in my eyes.
What is it out of 10?
In my eyes, I've said 6. For me, it's a 6. And I know it may sound lukewater, but it's like you've made 5-6 signings, but only 2 of them genuinely go into the starting lineup and improve it. And for me, it was a starting lineup that had glaring holes in it, but had core foundation pieces that you can really hang your hat on, like the front 3, I feel like. And that's really what I feel like this season, in my eyes, our top 4 hopes is going to hang on Conte being a complete world-class tactical genius, and that front 3 being a world-class collective, if you like, because I feel like in that midfield, we're still missing that kind of creative profile that we haven't had for a couple of years since Eriksen left. At the back, we've said many a times, left centre-back's been an issue. Right wing-back's been an issue. Our wing-backs, period. And when you're playing in Conte's system, the wing backs are so key. So for me,
so you
it's
don't
like
think Perisic and Spence
is a major upgrade. That is the exact kind of quality I felt like we need to bring in. And he's one of the few that I've said the Champions League, the money we've got, Conte, that's the kind of signing we should be going for. Jed Spence, on the other hand, I feel like is a little bit more of the kind of what we used to do at Spurs. Project signings where we hope in 2
like Sessegnon, isn't it? It's almost the same series. It's the same as Sessegnon.
3.5 years on from Sessegnon. Where are we?
Yeah. It's whether he can make that step up in it. Yeah.
Sarr was signed for 25 mil last year, sent on loan. He's about to get sent on his second loan. Brian Gill was signed
25 mil on him. Jeez.
Yeah. Brian Gill, 25 mil 2 years ago. He was meant to be the hottest prospect out of Spain. We said, hey, we'll give you 25 mil plus Lamela.
Yeah.
And we're about to send him on his second year on loan. So for me, it's a case of even now we've just signed Destiny Udogie, who's meant to be who's meant to be one of the hottest prospects coming out of Italy. And I'm like, I hope these kids will sign. I hope we have a plan for them. That's my only thing. I don't want it to just be a scattergun where we're just collecting kids. We're not Chelsea. We don't have that kind of loan academy system.
Yeah, you ain't got the Cobham set up, bro. You ain't really got that.
So for me, especially when we have the world-class manager, have the Champions League football, have the money there for the first time, utilize it and maximize it to its full effect. Against Chelsea now, I think we started the season well, and this is going to be the litmus test to see where the level's at. Can we catch Chelsea on an off day? They haven't fully integrated their new signings. They haven't really completed their window. The front line hasn't really gelled. Listen, this is an opportunity for us to kind of break that hoodoo, but Chelsea at home, brother. I think we've got one win in 29 years.
Yeah, it's mad. And that was fairly recent. That was a few years ago. I remember expressions falling through the seats and mashing up his knees or something. I remember that.
It's mad. It's genuinely a curse. And I remember the Emirates used to be like that once upon a time, but all of these hoodoos are there to be broken. And I feel like now Conte being there as well.
You rated the window 6 out of 10 based on what you hope and what you've done, yeah? If I asked you to rate it in comparison to the other 21 summer transfer windows you've had in the 20 Premier League transfer windows, where would your rating change?
As in, have we had better windows than this?
Yeah.
Honestly, in my eyes, we've had plenty of horrible windows. So there won't be many of our last 21 windows, if you like that, I'll even rate over a 6 out of 10. There have been many summers where I've sat here frustrated as a person. Very few windows we've got it right. Let's not forget how the Ericsson one, the Ericsson one actually after Bale got sold.
Bale, I remember that.
And at that time, I remember it was the same thing. Everyone going, young talents all round. Yeah, these are good players they can build on. 24 months on, they're all kind of scattered. Ericsson's the only good signing that we made out of that. So for me, it's like looking at these. Fraser Forster is a backup keeper. Perisic, let's be honest, he's a good signer, but he's 33. Let's not kid ourselves. Langley shot off confidence for 2 years. He's a loanee.
It's a risk.
Jed Spence is a project signing. Is he immediately going to get ahead of Emerson, who's refound his form? Doherty was in the form of his life, and it's like you've now got 3 right wing backs, and then it's like I don't know. Basuma, I feel like is a genuine upgrade, but we had a kind of open lane because of the case. And I felt like, in my honest opinion, even if we didn't get Champions League, we still could have got Basuma, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Like, what have we really maximized having those things for me? And it's like,
how do you feel about Richarlison? You ain't spoke about him.
Listen, he's the one I was trying to avoid it because people know I'm not a huge fan of this guy, bro. It's like to play 35 plus games, give me 12, 13 goals. People will sit there and say it's a proven goal scorer, but I feel like, if you watch this guy play, he's very ineffective. I don't know his best position. I don't know his best attribute. Is he a great finisher? Is he a great dribbler? Is he a great crosser? 1v1, final ball? I don't see any of those things. But what he does have is grit-like mindset. He's a hard worker. And the fact that he's versatile as well, I feel like those kind of things is what Conte is looking for in kind of a backup striker. The thing is I'm not mad at Richarlison signing for us. I'm just mad that we paid premium top dollar for a guy who I think is not going to break this front 3 at all, or even give it a challenge. You see the levels of Kulusevski last week. You know what Kane and Son are. He is not that level. So it's like, for me, I felt like maybe a Danjuma when I'm hearing him for 45 mil to West Ham. When I'm hearing Memphis Depay is available for 15 million, I'm thinking, hold on, I'd rather spend 60 mil there than maybe a 60 mil on a Richarlison. But if Conte is saying that's the caliber of player I want, then cool. He's my guy right now, and that's the thing is, listen, I might be a skeptic to some of these signings, but my thing is, I hope they prove me wrong.
Yeah,
That's
for real.
I think.
For real.
I hope Conte for me is the biggest factor within all this. If he can, I've said when he came in, he can make mediocre guys all of a sudden this level. And if he can come and make these Richarlison think, all right, cool. In a World Cup, yeah, I'm happy to come off the bench and I'll give you 5-10 here, there. Cool. Let's see where it takes us.
Just with Chelsea quickly, Turkish, in this game, their first home game of the season. You know, you look at the likes of Raheem Sterling. You know, Koulibaly is in there. Kukurea is there. Could this be a good game for Raheem Sterling to announce himself and open up his tally? And you know, he won the penalty the other day. He was still active. I don't think they're still trying to work out his movement and how he fits in, especially in quite a bitty Chelsea front line. It's not finished yet. But could they get the job done against Spurs? Because it is, no offense, it is still Spurs. They got a good record against them. They haven't had the best, window, but they will still back themselves at home as favourites to win this.
Yeah, with Raheem Sterling, I have a lot of question marks around Raheem Sterling, and they will be answered at Chelsea. I think Pep.
What question marks are they?
Whether he is of the quality that people think he is and has been at Man City.
What are we saying here? What, enlighten me into this? What's going on here?
Is he a system player?
Basically, yeah.
Is he a system player? So he's only been good because Pep made him that?
Well,
not made him that, but made the system that.
Raheem Sterling is top level and he will be fine at Chelsea. Top. Does it for England, does it for Man City, done it in his early years at Liverpool team.
Very differently for England than he did.
Adapts to the system. That's what I'm saying. Adapts to the system. That proves that the guy's got a football brain now. Yes, not as clinical. People say that. Does he strike the ball clean? I get that. But as a winger,
well, we'll see.
Respect for Sterling's name, I'm saying.
Part of the signing for Chelsea is they've signed a star man. You heard his interview the other day that, he didn't want to look back at his career, and at the age of 27, his playing time goes down. So he's made the move to stay at the forefront, to be still a leader in a certain team. So this is the type of games that he has been brought in to make a difference in. So I'm not hearing anything about the system and all of this stuff.
Jury's out. Yeah, look at these Sterling hating, man. I didn't know this. Listen. I didn't know about this club, I didn't know. Is that what it is for Sterling, yeah? Right.
He's got to prove himself. There's question marks.
Prove himself. He's one of the high...
Do you know what it is? Do you know what it is?
Sterling, I just heard... Turkish just told me Sterling has to prove himself.
It's not prove himself in a sense of as a player, but in a system.
I think Turkish is saying that.
Where Pep has taken him to that, he's a talent, raw talent. Because let's not forget, even before Pep came in, Sterling was struggling at City that first year and a half. But then after that, he took this explosion to the next level. You saw it come through at England, and you thought, this is a guy whose IQ has stepped up, his finishing ability stepped up, the way he's moving, his positioning. Can he now replicate that in a Chelsea system where the attack is not fluid? You're not almost like the final piece, if that makes sense. When Cancelo gets out wide and Foden and all, they're looking for you. You're going to be the final. That's already a
thing, though. If Foden went Chelsea in a disjointed front three, he ain't going to shine like no one shines like they shine in Man City.
You were saying Chelsea's front three haven't really found it. I think that front three they played, Mount was one of their key players. Havertz is the gem and crowning piece that they've had. Sterling is on the other side.
Goals are like 9 goals for the season as a night. He's not it.
That's who they've hanged their hat on, bro. I'm telling you, they've just.
That's why they've got to change it. That's why they need a striker. They need another right winger.
Oba?
Oba can link. Oba can score goals there. Oba can score goals there. All right, okay. Give me a prediction. Give me a prediction, Fuad, in that game for you and your team.
I've said I think Chelsea will probably snatch some Jorginho penalty or something.
Okay.
1-0, or I'll take a 1-1 draw.
I don't think Spurs will lose. I'm going to go for a draw. I don't think Spurs lose this game. Turkish, what are you saying?
On Big Six, I said 3-1 Tottenham, but I've got a thing about.
Did you?
Yeah. But I'm going to say 2-1 Tottenham. I think. Listen,
you think they slap them up like that? Yeah. Well, you're confident Chelsea are going to win this? Yeah. I'm sorry, Spurs.
It's not what I want. I want to draw, but I just think Conte, and I think the wind is in the sails for Tottenham. Whereas with Chelsea, they've had a couple signings, but that performance against Everton was so poor. Yeah. So poor. So I think this is Tottenham's best chance in a long time to get something from the bridge. So I think.
Okay.
Do you know what? All right. Just quickly, do you know what I'm seeing with Tottenham as well? Yeah, I swear to you, I see this almost every season. Yeah, when we start it, usually, is everyone starts favoring us in games like this, and
he doesn't like it.
Period, Carragher and Neville get around the table and like, they're serious title contenders, aren't they? Yeah, they are. And I'm like, lads, are we doing this again? And there always comes that game, where it's like a real reality check. And I remember it was Liverpool 2 years ago. Last year, it was when we went through that London strip where we basically Arsenal, West Ham, Palace, they all made us around London.
Yeah.
It was like, yo, I've been warning you, man. So this is that game. I feel like that. Even though it's early, it might just give us that little reminder. Listen, there's work.
Or the other way around. If you win, then it's like, see, this is why Spurs are X, Y, Z. So it literally can go either way. Let's get into my team. Brentford versus Manchester United. Obviously, awful start against Brighton. The fallout from that, the lack of direction, the mud. United just continue to be in the mud. They find new ways to stay in the mud. But it's a new week. It's a new game. And things change. But for me personally, I'm very worried about this game. You know, I'm thinking we're doing an Arsenal of last season. I think out of the first 3 games, I can't see where a win's going to come from, because obviously it's Liverpool after this game. I think if you're Brentford, you know, first home game, if I'm Ivan Toney, I like Martinez and I think he had some good and bad bits against Brighton. But if you're them, I'm saying get on the angle. Ivan Toney, that's you, just like how Welbeck did. Do you know what I mean? Use your pace, use your strength, test out this kid. Call him a kid, a bit disrespectful, but do you know what I mean? If you're Ivan Toney, you're thinking that. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. Put pressure on them. If I'm Mbeumo running in behind Maguire, I'm putting it on them. And mentally, we're very fragile. We've got a new manager. We're trying new things. And as you saw against Brighton, first 5-10 minutes, all right, you might knock the ball about with a bit of confidence. Bang, 1-0 down, mentality gone, revert back to type, because they're very, very fragile right now. And on top of the fragility mentally, just not good enough in certain areas of the pitch, and never have been and never will with certain players. So that's me. I mean, the guys on the channel know how I feel about it, so I'm not going to keep going with that. But from the outside looking in, firstly, just on this game, if we just stick to this game, and then we'll talk about it a bit more about Man United and the failings and Brentford as well. Turkish, how are you seeing this game going in terms of Man United going into this?
It's not the easiest destination after losing your first home game. I think Brentford are a decent side, good manager, made a couple good signings. I'm not sure if Damsgaard's going to be ready for this one, because I
don't know if he'll start. Yeah, he literally just got there. Might be on the bench though.
That's another good signing for them.
Wicked signing.
I think the way they fought back against Leicester was big for them as well. If they had lost that game, then I would think Man United have a bigger chance here to take the 3 points. But because of that fight back, because of United's lackluster performance last weekend, because it looks like a lot of the players either don't understand Ten Hag, don't want to understand Ten Hag, or want to leave the club,
or aren't good enough to understand him.
Yeah, or I just don't see it getting any better away to Brentford. So yeah, it's not looking good for United for me.
Fuad?
Yeah, honestly, I think the Ericsson derby, I'm calling this one, but
yeah,
I think Brentford definitely I favour for them. I think, yeah, as Turk said, big character. I think Joshua Silva coming back as well this season.
Massive plus for them.
Massive plus for them. I think I'm curious to see. There's always that second season syndrome with these teams that do well when they get promoted. So I'm really curious to see how Thomas Frank and Brentford kind of adapt this season to the Premier League. But I think United will be kind of that test at home to see, can they really live up to it? And the thing is, perfect time to play United, because honestly, I would say in my lifetime, and United at this point have been through some depths, but this is like new lows, honestly. I'm talking where you think, okay, maybe Ronaldo will get them out. He wants out. Or maybe the homegrown academy born Manchester kid Rashford will get him out. He wants out. And you're like, where is this kind of moment coming from? Pogba was meant to be the redeeming factor all these years. He's just left on a free again. There's such a mess from top to bottom at United. I think it's one thing Cams used to say last season on Stop It. It's going to get worse
100%
before
it will. Yeah, 1,000,000%.
Over the next 6 months, basically, for me, all I would say is stick with Ten Hag. Because for me, I've seen this when Pochettino even came in. I think up until November, we were still one of the worst sides. He was one game away from getting sacked, and then it clicked. Yeah. For me, I think if you have a good manager, which Ten Hag has proven he is, who's tactically astute, who can use his players, who has an identity and knows what he wants from his team, stick with him. Especially if you kind of waited all... You announced it mid-season last year that he was coming or whatever. Don't be hasty if the form gets bad. If this gets really, really ugly, for me, I just hope people don't turn on Ten Hag.
It's interesting that you're saying that, because that's one thing I was saying before he even come here. Before he even come here, I said, listen, forget what happens for the rest of this season. Next season, when this guy comes, there's going to be times we're going to be around Christmas time, maybe struggling, you know what I mean, down in the dungeons. We feel like we're there after one game. Do you know what I mean? So I think the main frustration, and I think people have been quite unanimous of that, especially after one game, has been towards the board and the lack of direction at the football club. You can lose a game, first game with a new manager against Brighton, fine, well-coached team, they put it on us, cool, you can lose. But when you're then told the next day that, or the same day that you're trying to sign Marko Arnautovic, you're going to get Rabiot last minute. Do you know what I'm saying? That's where the frustration comes from. This is supposed to be an element of change. This is supposed to be where the club resets itself and says, right, let's agree in a good, proper direction to go in. And the man's telling me about Arnautovic.
I don't think he's helped himself either, because Ralph Rangnick was brought in to analyze the squad and give a verdict and an opinion and help out the next person in charge, yeah? And Ten Hag kind of came in on a high horse. It seems like he's very ego-driven. He wants to do everything his own way. He ain't hearing. And the problem when you bring in a new manager is the slate is cleaned, not only from the fans to the club, but from the manager to the players. You're fed up. The same things happen at Arsenal. Flex, you're fed up of these players, but Ten Hag doesn't know these players from Adam. He's learning about them now. Whereas
he knows who McTominay and Fred are after Brighton. He knows who they are now.
Well, yeah, but really, it shouldn't have.
But yeah, I hear you though. He's trying to give them a chance.
If you listen to Rangnick at the end of last season, I'm sure Rangnick would have highlighted a lot of these problems. Then he could have proactively attacked the summer properly. Instead, like you said, Arnautovic, Rabiot. Like the other day in her WhatsApp group, a Man United brethren of mine from school, he done a voice note. He said, listen, banter aside, yeah, how did you, man, deal with being this shit? Us Arsenal fans, because he said you lot have been doing this for years.
There's so many parallels, man. It's like we are literally where you were 3 years ago, you know, or a couple of years ago, and it's like that transition is just, you have to get told trust the process and stuff, and you just see mad, wild decisions that you just can't get behind, and it's the hope that kills you, as they say. But with this game, I worry. I mean, I'm going to go for a draw. Maybe Brentford might do it. I just see them, if they score before we do, we're too fragile. We're too fragile. I just can't see it. And it's a work in progress. There's some good things that Eric Ten Hag's trying to do. We need Eriksen to be in midfield, and Ronaldo has to start for me. False 19 didn't work. And we need Ronaldo to start the game. It's as simple as that. There's nobody else. He's got to start. So you guys went for kind of Brentford, didn't you, really?
Yeah, I'll go 2-1 Brentford.
Turkish?
3-1 Brentford.
Because you know what it is, yeah? Obviously, you're still a fan, innit? And it's like, when you just hear, man, casually that's it, easy. Yeah, United dusting, easy. West London, boom. They'll hold a 3-1. It's like, you can't just really casually just say that and move on. It's a bit like,
yeah, but when the host from the United fan is taking a draw, then what do you expect from us?
Oh, man. That's Turkish went light, 3-1, casual. Just let's move on to the next fixture. Boy. Wow. Let's move on to the next fixture. Man City against Bournemouth. Bournemouth a good 2-0 win against Aston Villa. Really good for Scott Parker to get off with a win there. Getting a good scalp of Steven Gerrard. Man City with a comfy win against West Ham. A lot of people tipped West Ham to do something there. City slow starters. West Ham at the London Stadium usually jam it on the big teams. But Haaland and Man City had other things on the agenda. Some people have questioned Haaland. You know what I mean? He might have take time to adapt, and it's not going to be this, it's not going to be that. Brace straight away, and now he faces Bournemouth at home, where you would predict that City are going to get a whole host of chances. How are you seeing this one, Fuad?
In my opinion, I think this should be City's first. They always have that 4 or 5-0 bonanza in one of these early fixtures. I feel like this has got to be their first one, and I feel like this has got to be the one where Haaland and KDB just kind of show out, in my opinion. Because I expect Bournemouth under Scott Parker. I haven't seen him too much, to be honest, but from what I remember of his time at Fulham, he does like to play kind of front foot attacking football.
Yeah.
So you doing that against City is probably the worst thing. From what I saw in City's first game, Pep's already trying new methods for this season as well. I was seeing inverted fullbacks coming in. I was seeing Kyle Walker next to Rodri at some points. Haaland is, again, another tactical change. I think that's going to be in their system that they're going to have to adjust to this season. So for me, these early games, I'm just watching City to see how they kind of tactically adapt from having gone no striker for the last 4 years dominating to now you've got this
proper
man
and then runs that second goal he scored. Well, the goal from open play he scores. That's Haaland. That's the one in between two centre halves.
They said Bundesliga. They said Bundesliga, you only get that because of the high lines. They said he won't get that in the Premier League. He said hold
straight away, game one.
So I think if Bournemouth do any of that high line nonsense, Haaland will feast on that. And I think this is going to be one dangerous thing with Haaland is his drop in play. Can he improve aerially this year as well? But I don't think the pressure on Haaland, in my opinion, is really on him in the Premier League. I think he will get his Premier League numbers. He'll get his 17 minimum, I'm expecting.
Yeah.
But in the Champions League, in those big games, in the knockout stages, that's where I really think he's kind of been brought in to be like, push us over that barrier.
Make the difference, make us killers.
In my opinion. But I'm expecting this to be a Man City goal fest.
Turkish?
Yeah, I haven't really got much to say about this.
That's it, innit? Yeah, that's it.
Light work. I agree with Fuad that usually they have an early game where they hit 4, 5, 6s. But I think with this one, I'm looking at 3-0 because they're still adapting to this new system. Like Fuad said, it's like they're bringing something different to it. So I think 3-0 is probably the prediction I'm going for.
And just quickly on Haaland, because like you said, okay, the game's unanimous, but on Haaland, people comparing him to Nunes, people saying Haaland, up there for the golden boot. Can't just disrespect the likes of Harry Kane and Son and Salah have been putting up genuine numbers in this league for a long time. But with the amount of chances that City create and how they move, someone as good as Haaland is surely going to be up there. Do you think he's a challenger for the golden boot, or he could get it?
Yeah, I think he'll get it, if I'm honest.
You think he'll get it, yeah?
Yeah, I think he'll get it.
Fuad, not having that, Rajay, what, your guys, Kane's still going to be favourite for you to get that?
Hands down.
Hands down. 25
minimum. Book it. I told you here first, yeah? August the 12th, Friday, 4:02. Harry is the Premier League Golden Boot winner this season, my brother. What I was seeing in preseason, I know first game, we let the rest of the team eat. We feed everyone else our time this season. Okay. Salah, the numbers are fading. We let Son have his little award last year. Everyone started to think we was a creator number 10 out here. We're going to remind everyone this season.
All right, cool. Let us know in the comments what you guys are saying about the Golden Boot winner. And obviously a lot of the games that we've been talking about before as well with your predictions. And smash the like on the video, subscribe to the channel if you guys are new. Liverpool shell-shocked, I would say, against Fulham. I feel like they just turned up down there by the Thames. Thought it'd be a nice day out. They've just come up. We'll quickly slap these up quick, send them packing, get back to Anfield on Monday night. Fulham and Marco Silva and Mitrovic had different ideas. They were at it. They were in their faces. They stopped them playing. And even when they got pegged back a couple times, in the game, and when they conceded, they just stuck to it as well. And Liverpool had to draw for their big guns, really, in Darwin Núñez and the usual Salah to just even get something out of it. Klopp spoke as well afterwards. He doesn't normally question, players' desire or mentality and stuff like that. He usually blames other stuff. Well, he said the pitch was a bit dry, innit? He did say that one. But you don't normally see him criticize his players, but he did. He did that time. Are Crystal Palace going to feel the brunt of that? First home game, Monday night under the lights at Liverpool. They're a bit annoyed. They got injuries, though, as well. So how do you see this one, Turkish?
Newly promoted sides love a big game to start off a Premier League season. We saw that with Brentford, Arsenal last year, and Bournemouth against Villa and Fulham against Liverpool. I think it's only Forest let the team down in terms of newly promoted sides. But I think you're right. I think Palace are going to get the brunt of it. But at the same time, that's me expecting Liverpool to dominate the game, expecting Liverpool to create chances. But Palace are a good side. Tactically as well, a lot of people talk about the athleticism and the pace they have in the side, but tactically Vieira's shown up a good few times. So it'd be interesting to see what he does. It's a Monday night fixture. Palace love those fixtures. But yeah, I think Liverpool need to pick up the points now. I know it's only the second game of the season, but you can't.
The stakes are too high with them and Man City in the shootout. Draws are catastrophic at their level. Do you know what I mean? They're like losses.
And going into that game, I assume Man City would have thumped Bournemouth, and Man City will be going into that, 5 points ahead already in the second game. So it's already looking like it's a must win for Liverpool. And I think they should get the job done, but they can't underestimate Palace like they did with Fulham. I don't think they will, but Palace have something about them. I know we beat them 2-0 in the first game of the season, but they've definitely got something about them. They should have scored against us, if I'm honest. They created 2 great opportunities.
Yeah, the Eze one especially. Should have got scored.
Yeah, it'll be a good game.
Fuad, can Liverpool just going to get back to it? Midfield struggling a little bit. I listened to Klopp's press conference this morning, covered that today, and he was basically saying they're looking for the right player, not just going to get anyone. Obviously, they're in trouble, but they will look for solutions within. But Naby Keita, I think, is back, but Thiago's out. They've got some big injuries there as well. But do you think they get just back at it under the lights at Anfield Monday night?
Personally, yeah, I think they have to as well. And I think, the Thiago injury is a massive one. But as you said, Naby Keita's back fit. And I'm sorry, but at some point, Liverpool fans have to start expecting from this guy. He came in.
Bro, thank you, bro. I always say he's dead.
50 million signing.
He's dead.
Gerrard gifted him the number 8, let's not forget. So it's like, and I understand injuries and everything have had a knock on him, but last season he was pretty fit. He saw a lot of the year. He played some parts. This is the kind of moment where you think, all right, Thiago's now injured. Thiago's 32, if I'm not mistaken. He's getting on. Take the mantle and take the place and show what you're about. And I think Klopp has also been brave as well in saying that, listen, Elliott and Carvalho, they might be 18 and 19, but I'm not scared to throw them in as well. So I think that little bit of X factor, I always think with talented youngsters like that, I think Arsenal had it last year as well with Saka, and a lot of people or a lot of Premier League defenders haven't adapted their games to these youngsters yet. So they're a little bit of a unknown quantity, if you like. So for me, I'm excited to see how they're kind of thrown in and to see if Naby Keita can step up. But Darwin Núñez has to start for me this game as well.
Yeah.
I think last 2 sub appearances, he's shown he can be a handful. Big money signing. I think Klopp was maybe just trying to protect him from kind of the early preseason critics. But in those games, he's kind of shown his impact. And I think this is the kind of game where you think he would really kind of embrace that physical battle. Palace as well, they're a physical team. So this is Darwin.
I know you said, obviously, your guy's going to get the golden boot guaranteed, rubber stamp it here, 25 goals, whatever. But talk to me about Núñez. Can he be a serious threat to that as well? Or not even over Haaland?
Nah. Listen, there's hierarchies. Kane and Salah for me will be the main runaways, and then it will be kind of Son, Ronaldo, Haaland, a little bracket there, and then you'll get kind of the Darwin Núñez's.
Right. So you don't think that Darwin Núñez is going to put up a solid 17 to 20 in the league?
Oh, and the thing is, I don't think he needs that at Liverpool. Yeah. I think he's Salah there. I think he's got Diaz who needs to start contributing this season as well. But
big boots to fill in. Mane was a big contributor.
100%.
Numbers up Diaz.
Would you have a bet on Haaland banging 20?
Would Haaland? I don't know. I think Haaland can do it. That's the thing. I don't doubt if Haaland can.
He's bagging 20.
He said Son, Ronaldo, Haaland, and I think that's a bit disrespectful to Haaland.
Mad.
Yeah, do you know what it is? I think this season it's just an adaptation thing for Haaland. That's my only concern. I don't think whether he's good enough for the league, or I think in time he'll get it. But you know how it is with these pet players when he signs them. Bernardo, Grealish, Sterling, Mahrez, all of them, they come in. And
I'm watching Grealish. I know Cam's his biggest fan. I'm watching that boy. Because to me, I see him as just Villa. I don't see nothing. I'm being honest.
They said he's better than KDB.
Let's see what he does. Yeah, exactly. And he's on that left-hand side every game. No excuses, no Sterling. Let's see if he does better than Sterling numbers-wise.
100%. So for me, it's a case of how does that wing combo, Mahrez and Grealish, is that going to be the permanent one, or is it going to be Foden, Alvarez? So for me, it's a case of what gets the best out of Haaland. And I think that's what will determine how well he does. But Champions League is the gauge for Haaland, in my opinion.
Okay, but we're not having. Well, Fuad's not having Núñez anywhere near the Golden Boot or anywhere near that level. I think.
But here's the thing: he just needs to be a handful and contribute, in my opinion.
He's definitely going to be that. I think he's going to be more than that. I think he's going to score a bag of goals.
You think
bag of goals? Yes, 16 plus in the league, comfy. I'm saying comfy.
Maybe I think because I don't rate him technically like that, I can just see him having so many gaffes or misses. And I feel like he's one of those players, if his confidence hits the ground, those memes start coming out, and he just starts feeding. The press start getting onto him because let's not be honest.
Well, they did that in pre-season.
That was the internet social media that was bantering him. Once the real press start getting onto him about missing chances, now you haven't scored in 6-7 games, bruv. Darwin Núñez, can you handle the heat? Because one season in the Portuguese league is what we're going off right now.
Yeah, I hear that.
I'm like, oof. I've seen better man flop.
All right, cool. Let's go for predictions. What's your prediction on this, Fuad?
Liverpool 3-1. 3-0.
Turkish 3-0, yeah? 3-1. Okay, yeah. I like 3-1. Let's quickly go through these ones as well. Let's go Wolves, Fulham. Obviously, Fulham with a great Liverpool in the last game. Wolves 1-0 up against Leeds. Couldn't hold on to that. Some nice moments of play, but got overwhelmed in the end. Wolves are a bit weird, isn't it? It's like Bruno Lage. Last year, they started well, but couldn't score. Then they found their groove. Then they done really well. Then they tailed off. And Fulham, obviously, are looking to stay in the league. First home game at Molineux, though, this season. What are you saying, Turkish?
Yeah, I mean, I was surprised by their first result against Leeds, because one thing about Wolves last year is defensively, they was pretty solid throughout the season. They haven't started this one well, but I think this is a perfect game for them. A newly promoted side. They, Fulham went into that Liverpool game heads high, chest out. They got a result out of it, but they was made to work for it. I think now Wolves will, I think Wolves got enough to get this one over the line. So yeah, I think Wolves will edge it.
What are you saying, Fuad? Actually, what I want to ask you is Fulham's way of playing, was that just because it's a free hit, Liverpool in town, it's our first home game, runabout, energy, or are you saying Marco Silva wants his team to be that?
I'm curious to see how Marcus is.
Same. I'm curious. Are you gonna go Wolves with that same vim and play like that?
Yeah, I think this will be a dull affair. This will be kind of last in the match of the day order type of game. I think it could be a potential 0-0 in all honesty, because I look at Mitrovic and I'm like, is he consistently gonna get you them type of goals and them type of performances? I think, as you said, it's those smaller teams sometimes it's easier to get up for those kind of big Premier League games as well. When you're playing against the Van Dijk, you're like, you know what? Maybe I can embarrass him and put him on the post. Yeah. Well, now it's you know what? I'm playing Wolves. Cool. It's just another game type of thing. So I want to see if Fulham can keep that momentum from last week. But I don't know if, for me, I look at Wolves. I don't know if they've got the juice. I look at guys like Neto, and I'm thinking you've got something there, but something and nothing at the same time. They're just this they are the definition of a mid-table club, in my opinion.
Yeah, but then Wolves are that team, that weird team that like they are that. I agree, but it's like, but you never really want to play against. They're very dangerous. Like sometimes, like you said, good defensively, but they won't put a run together to go like, right, cool, they're going to gate crash to get into Euro. But it's like,
shall I be honest?
Just be there.
I don't know about that, because all I think Bruno Lage just talks very well in press conferences and has kind of.
You don't think they've actually done that well? You just think they're just
mediocre? I thought they were a lot better and more difficult to break down under Nuno, in my opinion. I don't think they've ever got back to those types of levels. I think Bruno Lage has tried to kind of make them a little bit more flexible, a little bit more kind of more on the front foot. But for me, I think losing Connor Cody as well, who has been
it's a big mistake. Played every Premier League game last year.
That was one of the most random moves this season as well. So I don't know what's happened behind the scenes there, but I'm curious to see how that back line adapts. Yeah. So they've gone Bolly out of there. Cody out of there, it's completely changed. So
yeah, exactly. All right, so you're going with a draw?
Yeah, 0-0.
You're going with Turkish?
2-0 Wolves.
2-0 Wolves. You think they'll win comfortably? Okay. Forest, not a good start against Newcastle. Didn't even have a shot on target. Making signings galore though. About to make another signing today. I see that they're in for Gibbs White as well. They are spending big. But I think there's a little bit of a misconception with Forest that they're doing a Fulham throw the kitchen sink at it. But they were always going to have to make them wholesale changes. They were always going to lose a lot of players. But having said that, they have brought in an awful lot of players. Big money as well, some of them. And some of them are some big players that you might think, wow, for Nottingham Forest, how's this going to work? But their first time back in the league in a long time, you know what I mean? Historic club. It's going to be rocking there as well. But West Ham, not great against City, looking to kind of, do their thing. But could Forest do a Fulham where it's their first home game? They get up for it. They didn't give a good account of themselves against Newcastle. How do you see this one, Turkish?
Nottingham Forest had nothing against Newcastle in that first game.
Yeah, nothing.
I know West Ham didn't do well against Man City, but Nottingham Forest had nothing. And they're running a big risk with the amount they've spent and the number of bodies they've brought in. It's all about it clicking, getting the chemistry and making it work in your first season back in the Premier League, which is a tough task. In terms of their first home game, fans are going to be up for it, but I don't think West Ham's the best team to be playing, especially West Ham off the back of a loss against Man City. They're going to be really up for it. They're probably looking at it as this is where we get our first 3 points of the season. Experienced manager over there. They know what this league means. They know what it's all about, and they've been at the top half of it for a couple of years now. So I think Nottingham Forest, it'll be buzzing. That's the fuck.
I was just about to say, I swear I saw a little fly on top of your hat a second ago, and then it went. And then
What's going on in the studio? I'm being attacked, my bro. This stream might have to be cut short. But yeah, where was I? Nottingham Forest.
You're saying it's not good for them to be playing West Ham, basically, you were saying?
Yeah, I think that the stadium will be buzzing. It always is. It always is. Nottingham Forest have a massive history. They got a massive fan base. They got passionate fans. And yeah, all in all, it's good to see them back in the league. I'd like them to stay up because of the history they have and the name they possess. But this one, I think West Ham will edge it.
Okay, what are you saying, Fuad? Do you think West Ham edge that? Yeah,
I'm saying nostalgia hype, man. Get Nottingham Forest out of here, man.
Club
I'm tired of these. This club used to be in the Premier League in 80s. Get out of here. We don't care about all that. Where are you now? Spending how much on how many players?
No respect for the legends before him, that's the problem with the youth today, No
listen. I'm only jealous, bro. That's all it is.
Jealous of the history and the European Cups of certain man, you know what I mean?
When I hear that Cloughie story, bro, that is poetic stuff. But how long can we keep going on about that, man? It's been 30 years and you lot ain't replicated close to it. So clearly things haven't been running properly. And I feel like the way they've run their club this summer is they've brought in a few talented players. I think the Mangala, Lingard, Awoniyi from Union Berlin.
He's exciting, he is, yeah.
Yeah, so there's a couple of gems in there. I think if they can kind of kick on and they have that home crowd behind them as well, that will be a massive role. If they can pattern their home form, that will be the key to them staying up this year. But in all honesty, I think any time we've seen teams come up and do this complete overhaul of their 11, it never seems to go well. And as talented as some of the players might be, I don't know if they've bitten off more than they could chew. And I look at their manager, Steve Cooper. I don't know too much about him, but does he strike you as a kind of manager that could keep them in the Premier League?
It's tough arts. He done really well when he took over them. Took them right up the league when they were struggling. And obviously got promotion, but like you said, it's a different ball game coming to the league.
Different animal Premier League.
100%. But having said, I listened to all you guys. I actually think I'm going with the nostalgia hype. I'm going with it. Because I predicted this on DR Sports, I'm going to stay true to it. I actually think they're just going to turn up. It's going to be loud at the City Ground, like how they played against Arsenal, like a FA Cup tie. You know what I mean? Just be at it. And I sense an upset. Watch this. Well, I'll be atting you lot when there's the upset, and you lot, you know what I mean. And you lot going to say, nah, you know what I mean.
2-1. I'll go 2-1 Skamaka double.
Okay, all right.
The big boy announced himself.
Big, innit? Big lanky guy. All right, and just very, very quickly, right at the end, Southampton versus Leeds. Hassan Hootel and Southampton. You just have no idea what you're going to get with them. Jesse Marsh trying to reinvigorate Leeds and go in a different direction to Bielsa and build his team. Made some decent signings, but not amazing. They haven't done loads. Lost their two best players as well. How do you see this one, Turkish?
This is one of those, as an Arsenal fan,
Could be anything.
I'm looking at it and I'm just thinking Southampton took the lead against Tottenham, but got thumped otherwise. Leeds, they done well to fight back and get the win. They have made a couple of decent signings, Leeds. I can't lie. Southampton, I'm not too sure who they brought in.
Aribo, they got him from Rangers.
Oh, yeah, but they've lost Brozier.
But they've lost Brozier now. I don't know if Livramento's back, or did he go back to
Chelsea? Adams to Everton as well.
Oh, is it? Yeah. There you go. Yeah, you do right there. So they're just a bit mere. It's like they're relying on Hassan Hootel's coaching ability, but it's like it's reached a bit of a ceiling already. Like Southampton are usually good at refreshing their team after selling players. They just look really stale. You never know what you're going to get. I'll kick off the predictions. I'll go with draw. 1-1.
I looked at last season going into the season. I predicted them for the drop because they sold Vestergaard, they sold Ings, and that was two of their best players that previous season. They've gone on.
I was going to ask you like that. Even like
Bertrand went as well.
Southampton will stay up this season because I think they could be one of the teams really fighting.
Absolutely.
Everton last year, similar.
Yeah,
100%. Do I think they'll stay up? Candidate to go down, definitely. There's if you're the bottom three, if you're the three coming up, and you look at them Prem teams that you think who was fragile, who could we really suck into this? They're one of them. They're one of them.
Prediction: I'm saying a 1-1 draw.
Turkish.
1-1 draw as well.
Yeah. Okay. Guys, we've come to the end of the show. Big up to you, man, for coming on, sharing the love, sharing the predictions. You guys smash a like on the channel, subscribe to the channel as well if you're new. Remember, if you haven't done so already and you'd like to, you can join the UV Members Club as well. The link is in the video description below. Get in touch with us in the comments. Let us know what some of the wild shouts, disrespect on Sterling, or is it valid? Haaland not getting the golden boot, no chance. Kane is doing that. Nunes not even barely getting double figures according to Fuad. It wasn't that drastic, but you know what I mean. I like to add in the little, add the little, you know what I mean. Add the little mad titles in there. Fuad no double figures for Nunes. Do that. But let us know what you guys have thought of the takes so far today. And we'll be back next week with another episode of the overview. We're out of here, guys. Peace.